Hello kids. So in today's session we're going to be learning how to make a paper mache pumpkin. So since the process of creating this is slightly long, we are going to be dividing it into two videos. For the first video, we're just going to make the structure of the pumpkin, the skeletal structure of the pumpkin, and for that we'll be using tape, these paper straws which we learned how to make with newspaper in the previous video, and you'll need tissue paper, a scissor, Fevicol, and water. That's about it. So before we begin, I'm just going to cut a few strips of tape so that it's very handy when I need it in a while. Yeah, so you can cut as many as you want, or you can cut it while you're doing the process. So in some of the previous videos you would have learned how to make a pumpkin. If you haven't watched them, no problem. Just follow the steps. The first step is to create an oval structure, a very thin oval structure, and that we're going to be sticking in the center of the page. So because an oval structure is not enough with I cannot make an oval structure with just one of these paper straws. I'm joining two and I'm twisting it to form an oval, narrow oval structure in the middle, and I'll be using tape to stick it to the paper here, right in the center. So now I'm going to add more paper straws and bend them in the form of really thin C-shaped structures that will come on either side of this narrow oval that's in the middle. So this is the first C-shaped structure, and I'm going to use tape to fix it to the paper. I'm gonna bend this next paper straw to make a symmetrical C-shaped structure, but on the right side of the middle oval. The previous one was on the left side, so this is going to be on the right side, and I'm again going to fix it with tape. Yet another paper straw, gonna bend it to form another C-shaped structure and fix it on the left. Remember that as you move away from the middle oval, the C-shaped structures or the ovals must be shorter, smaller and smaller as you go away from the pumpkin. So it's showing like depth. The ones in the closest to you would be the biggest, and as you go away, that is as you're moving towards the left and towards the right would be smaller because it's a little away from you. So I'll repeat that. The closest to you will be the biggest. The ones that are furthest will be the smallest. So a little more tape is required. See, it's easier to just cut all the tape in the beginning and keep, but my tape got over, so I'm cutting a new piece of tape for every time I'm sticking. Or you can just get those tape cutters. Yeah, so I'm fixing this as well. And I'll use another paper roll and create another smaller C for the right side as well. So now that this is done, the base of the pumpkin is over, and I'll be using another paper roll to kind of bend it to form a stalk for the pumpkin. Yeah, and that's the stalk. I'll fix this as well with tape. So now with this, the skeleton of the pumpkin is ready, and it's time to begin paper mache. So make sure that you have something on the table to, avoid spillage, like a paper or a cloth. Take a glass of water and empty a lot of Fevicol into it. If you want a guidance as to how much of Fevicol to put, I would say around 1 tablespoon of Fevicol would be good, or 1.5 regular spoon, or maybe 2 teaspoons. Once you put it in, take a brush and mix the Fevicol and the water. So now the water needs to turn from transparent to white color, like you can see in the cup. So now it's time to start applying the tissue paper. You take a toilet paper roll or tissue papers, and you tear it into multiple pieces, and all you have to do right now is really simple. You need to place the tissue paper, and using your paintbrush you need to apply some of the Fevicol water over it, and you keep doing it till every part of this paper and the skeleton of the pumpkin is covered. And since tissue papers are really thin, you'll need multiple layers to make it thick enough so that it doesn't tear, and it actually gives a good paper mache like finish. It's just easier to tear all the tissue paper in advance. If you hold it together and you tear it, it's way more faster. Now that all this is done, you can just place it all over the sheet and keep painting. This is definitely incredibly meditative. Like, I can go on and on just doing it. I hope you're enjoying creating this paper mache structure. Keep placing tissue paper on it. Then take your paintbrush, mix it with that water Fevicol structure, place it, apply it over the tissue paper, and keep doing it till the entire paper is filled with tissue paper. So I think I've applied tissue paper on the entire pumpkin, and I'm going to continue uh, applying it even on the background or the other parts. I'm going to keep doing it. You can stop when your tissue paper gets over, or you can stop when you get bored, or you can stop when you feel like it's enough. But preferably, we don't want the newspaper underneath to be seen. So keep doing it till the skeleton appears white and the newspaper print cannot be seen underneath. So I think just a little more left for me. And remember that once you're done applying tissue paper to the entire thing, you can just use whatever remaining Fevicol and water you have and like brush it over the entire tissue paper application so that it sticks even better. You don't have to be as fast as I'm doing. Feel free to take your time even after this video is over to complete applying tissue paper wherever you wanted to. So I'm almost done with this paper mache skeleton of the pumpkin, and I'm really happy with how it's looking. I cannot see any of the tissue paper or the tape underneath. It's really white. It almost looks like I've applied white paint on the entire structure. I hope yours also looks like this. And now that this is done, it will take a while to get dried. So I suggest you keep it aside, let it get dried, and come back for the next video to see how to paint the structure and we finish the paper mache pumpkin. I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, bye bye. Have an amazing day.